All right, so once again, Liberty Christopher, I'm a evening scholar at the London School of Economics and Political Science. I'm pursuing MNC in development management. And for those who have not seen this face, I am the one behind the coordinating some of the mentorships we've been having. Isaac, you may have to mute. All right. Okay, so today we're going to discuss the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, a very prestigious scholarship that has various benefits that we're going to discuss in the mentorship. And then we'll also discuss how you can apply, how you can put in a strong application. We'll also discuss the eligibility criteria. Then for those who have just joined and shared that, those who don't know anything about it, please use your internet, Google, so that you have valuable questions to ask. Today, you have a resource here so that you can submit a strong application. Overall, Uganda has not participated in this scholarship program. I think we have a less number of applicants from Uganda. So one of the goals for this call, for this Zoom session, is to ensure that we have a sizable number of applicants who submit strong applications. So don't take this mentorship for granted and don't attend or participate just to participate. But if you think you don't have enough information about the program, the best thing to do for yourself at this moment is to get on the call, be interested in, and so that you have valuable questions for Teddy. And I would discourage you from asking like general questions of when is the deadline, what should I do, where do I start from? No, those we are past that level. Those are questions that you can Google. She will share her experience, but please, at least do some basic research so that we don't have an hour of answering questions, which you can easily get by 1 minute of a Google search. Thank you, Teddy. Now you can take over the floor, please.
Okay, thank you, Liberty, for this. My name is Teddy number 0. I'm from Uganda. I'm an Erasmus Mundus scholar. Yes, so I'm doing a master's, an Erasmus Mundus master's in social work with children and families, but I'm going to specialize in child protection in emergencies because that is my area of where I was working anyway prior. I was working among the refugees, so I'm going to specialize in child protection in emergency situations. So basically, as I was still saying, so currently I'm based in Lisbon, and we are Lisbon, Portugal, and we are currently doing exams and internship at the same time. So we are working at the same time, doing exams. My specific course is you get to study in Lisbon, Portugal, at a university called SCTE. SCTE is it's an acronym. It's a short form, but it has a long meaning, which I actually don't know how to pronounce. So I shall go with SCTE. So as long as you're in Lisbon and you say you want to go to SCTE, they'll take you. But if you say the university like the English version, no one will know what you're talking about. So I came to Europe in late August. Yeah, first went to Belgium, then I came here for my first semester. Yes, so first semester is in Lisbon. Then I'm moving to Norway. I'm moving to Norway in the University of Stavanger. I'm moving to Norway in You can either move in December, but due to the COVID situation right now, I prefer to stay in Lisbon because it's kind of safer. Few people are actually not infected so far. So I'm going to stay in Lisbon and I'll move to Norway in January, early January for my second semester. Then from Norway, I'll move to Sweden for my third semester at the University of Gothenburg. And then in my last semester, I'll decide where I want to stay, whether I want to go to Lisbon, whether I want to go to Norway or Sweden. But for family purposes, I'll stay in Sweden. Yeah, because I have a family there. So yeah, I think that is all about my journey. But however, this course is also in conjunction with Macquarie University actually. So some students will do those who will do their last semester in Macquarie University. Yeah, shock, yeah.
Teddy, I will cut you short briefly. So does that mean that you get to choose the countries you go to?
Yes, but for the first 3 semesters, you don't have to choose. It is already predetermined. But in the last semester, where you're doing research and your thesis, you decide where you want to go. And the EU fund supports you during that time. Yeah. So the advantage of this course is you get, what is it called? I don't know how to say it you get an EU visa. Liberty, you can help me. How does Schengen? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Schengen.
You get a Schengen visa, so you get to travel wherever you want. Like currently, we are in internship, but I was able to go to Madrid just for the weekend. I think I'll be back. Yeah, so it is easy. You can move wherever you want. That is a beauty with the visa that you get with this scholarship. So it's a fully funded scholarship. You're funded in terms of your flights, your installation costs. Like I said, it involves moving to different countries. So every country you go to, they give you installation costs. But us who do not come from EU countries, we get more money. We get around, I think, 1,750 just for your flights. But they don't ask you for, how other entities that provide scholarship ask for accountability. Here it's an open book, so people travel. You can use a train, you can use whatever, but your money you still get 1,750 whenever you're moving to a different country. So that is a beauty with this scholarship. So on a monthly basis, you get a stipend of 1,000 euros. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So on top of the installation costs, whenever you move, you also get 1,000 euros per month. Okay. Yeah. So there's so many. I remember the time when we got it, I think 2020, were 12 Ugandans, but people are doing different courses. So there's another lady called Teddy. She was going to do medicine, I think medicine in Spain, Italy, and I think UK. Yeah, UK. And then, but as you know, UK left EU. So there are some courses that are no longer, they're shifting. So the people who were doing development, international development, yeah, that was also in different countries. Then there were people who were doing, someone was going to do mechanical science. Was going to German, Italy, and so what 12 by then. And then as EU Uganda, as European Union in Uganda actually celebrated the fact that this time Ugandans had gotten at least 12 people because the scholarship is quite competitive. Yeah. Very competitive. Like you compete with people all over the world. Like, for example, as you come from non-EU countries, you're competing with people from EU countries. For example, in my class, we have people from the US, we have people from Sweden, we have people from Norway, we have people from Egypt, we have people from Asia, we have people from Bangladesh. It is actually very competitive. So they actually choose the best of the best. So you have to do a lot of preparing for it.
All right. Yeah. Now that we are on preparing, how can Ugandans and those on the call prepare well for the scholarship? What tips would you give to someone who's preparing for the scholarship?
Okay. So different courses have different requirements. because it is a consortium of different universities, so they have different requirements. I know some people who, like I think Joventine in the UK, they did interviews after pre-selection. They went ahead and did interviews for them to be actually finally selected for the courses. However, during as long as you reach the interview session, you are at least on the final level, because they're asking them basic things like, what is your date of birth? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this course? And stuff like that. But in my case, mine was, there's no interview required. So basically what they need is, you should have done research before. You should have like a research thesis or dissertation in our case, in the Ugandan way. And also a good motivation letter, because the motivation letter should be 600 to 1,000 words. So I think that was the best trick. And of course, a CV that shows you have some experience in whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
For example, I wanted to do child protection, and I had some experience in that line. Though I was doing monitoring and evaluation as my job, but I was monitoring child protection projects with Care International and Lutheran and UNHCR. So it was easy for me to be able to formulate my CV. But the challenge came when it came to designing a good motivation statement. Yeah, because just to let you know, I had applied for Swedish SIS, Swedish Institute. You know it.
Yeah, it's
SIS, because I know people. I know people who have actually applied for SIS and gotten through. So I wanted to get SIS, but I think my motivation was not so good. So when preparing my Erasmus Mundus statement, I wrote as my motivation statement, gave it to someone to edit for me. A person gave me feedback. Again, I gave it to that person again to edit. Person again gave me feedback. So this was able to brush it and to make a good one, because it can't be good until someone else has a second eye on it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying, as even if you write so well, at least have a second eye for someone to review it and give you feedback.
Yes, very true.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay, thank
Because
you
I
so
realize
much.
it's actually very important when it comes to that, because I'd written like things I thought were actually so good. You know, they can say 1,000 words, but when you've written like 2,000, for example, so when you give it to an editor, people are actually good at editing. You'll find out they've edited so much, and they've made your motivation statement to be precise, concise, and accurate, and going straight to the point. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that most applicants of Erasmus Mundus face is accessing the course support. Like, where do you where do you find support for your application? How do you even start applying? I know these are basic questions, but for example, in the chat we have, do they have a master scholarship in mechanical engineering? At the start of this session, I said that some of the questions which you can easily find on Google, please at least Pius, type in Google and say master scholarships in engineering, Erasmus Mundus. See if you can find that. If you can't, then we'll have questions for here on the chat. But one of the things that I have to tell you is questions that you're asking, honestly, on this session are questions that you can easily Google. So if you're really interested in the scholarship, please do basic research. I will emphasize that. Secondly, there is a lot of information you need to digest before submitting a very good application. So one of the things we need to learn is to make thorough research if we're going to give a strong application. So Teddy,
Yes.
one question is, what is the official Erasmus Mundus website. If you have it, you could paste it in the chat.
Okay. So I wanted to actually put up, I'm trying to get from my phone to put it in the link.
Yes.
So there's a catalog which has the different Erasmus Mundus scholarships. So you just look for what you want, then you look for the qualifications of what they want. I met people at the dinner because after the scholarship, we had a dinner at the ambassador's place. So I met people who had applied for this scholarship like three times. And the beauty doesn't have most scholarships, so it's open, but just that it's very competitive. People put in extra effort to actually make sure you get it. Yeah.
So
let me try it.
All right. So I'll again re-emphasize extra effort. The first step, of course, is coming to this call, coming for this mentorship. Kudos, but I think it's not enough. The extra effort that you need to do it to also, make thorough research and ensure that you submit a competitive application. So when I did not apply for Erasmus Mundus, but one of the challenges like most people will face is, I think, it has a complicated way of applying. I'll compare with mine, for example, the Chevening Scholarship. They have like one portal and the steps are really easy. So you know that you need to submit the application and maybe later apply for university admission. So how does the Erasmus scholarship work? Do you have
Okay. In my case, so as I said, there is a consortium of universities. Yeah. But in this consortium, there is usually a coordinating university that coordinates the entire process. So for example, in my case, it was the University of Stavanger in Norway that is the coordinator of this course. So when you're applying, when the call when the call is open, so you apply using the University of Stavanger, but you focus on applying for example, there is Erasmus program. So they show you what is needed. You open an account. So you just keep, for example, uploading the necessary documentation that is needed. And then after the deadline, you wait for the results. And the beauty with this, like there's no application fee, so it was pretty easy. You just try your luck.
Yeah. So Julian, Atrine, your question has been answered. There's no application fee. So the first thing that you need to do is Teddy has shared the official website to the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. So it's here in the link in the chat. Please check it out. And if you have any questions, you will ask. But okay, there's one from Lisi Makula. Would a letter from my LC1 chairman be sufficient for proof of residence? Where else can I get one if I can't get it from my workplace? Yeah, good question. Good question.
Yeah, very good. I remember I was in the same dilemma. Yeah. So what I did, because I first presented, I think proof from my workplace, but when I submitted, the advantage I had is that the coordinating university, the person who was coordinating, she was called Karina. She was really supportive. Like if someone submits a wrong document, actually reaches out to you and says, hey, change this. This isn't the right one. So I had submitted from, I think, my workplace. Then she told me, no, you need proof. So you need proof from where you stay. So I went to my local LC chairman, but then I made sure they do it on an official letter-headed paper with it was typed because I didn't want to do the handwritten. So it was typed for easier reading for these people because, like, English is not the official language this side. So it has to be clearly understood.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I got it from the LC.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so Maureen, the session will be recorded, and I'm sorry, we won't follow a strict agenda because I actually didn't even know. I didn't make a lot of research for this session. I will first apologize because anyway, work here is tight. The course we are coming towards the end, so apologies for the disorganization. I don't have an agenda. I just thought, you know what, let's just do this. So that's why I encourage that if you have more questions, please bring them to the chat so that we have a meaningful conversation, because I think Teddy is also preparing for examination. So you wouldn't expect like a PowerPoint or like a very clearly structured conversation here. Those who have questions, keep them flowing. But I will continue on my questions that I would ask if I were applying for this scholarship. So what do I do first? Do I apply for admission first, or I should apply for the scholarship first?
Okay. Like different courses have different guidelines and timelines. But for my case, for my particular course, you apply to the university as a course, but at the same time, you indicate that you want a scholarship. That scholarship, because they ask, do you want to be a self-paying student or you want a scholarship? When you click on scholarship, then they show you the different scholarships. Then you apply as you want as a scholarship holder, recipient. Sorry, you apply as a scholarship recipient. So, for example, if 1,000 people apply as scholarship recipients, other 1,000 apply as self-funding. So you find the competition becomes tough on our side for applying as scholarship recipients. So the selection will be done differently. These people will be given basing on and then as here they will based on your scholarship documents and on top of your academics, your experience and all that, and then they will give you. So if you don't get, if you apply as a scholarship holder, so they select, for example, the first 9 and then they leave the rest out. So you won't be given at the university. You won't even be given because you specified that you can't fund yourself.
Oh, okay. So if you specify that you will not fund yourself, they will not give, and you do not get the scholarship, they will also not give you the admission.
Exactly, because you applied as a scholarship holder. But in some cases, if one is put on a waiting list and they say that your application is actually really good, they usually recommend you. They will write to you and say, hey, we have this scholarship as a university, you can apply for it. But usually the scholarships given are half. So you have to fund your other self.
Okay, so the question that has come in, I will first ask for your personal journey, then we'll go to it. So first walk us through briefly about your journey of when you applied, with maybe dates like in December or October, then what steps you went through, were you on reserve, did you get the scholarship immediately? Then join it with how life has been in the UK, especially now that for you, you move from one place to another.
So, okay, how did okay, I graduated in 2017 at Makerere University. So after graduation, I was very ambitious. So as an ambitious person, I actually tried to apply for a scholarship. So I It was weird. So I was put on waiting list because I had just finished school and all that. But then, like I said, there's this lady, she was called Karina. She reached out to me. She showed me another Erasmus program that they have. It was not Erasmus, it was a Norwegian program that is funded by the Norwegian government.
Yeah.
But so she told me, if your application was really good, but of course there are people who are better than you. So if you really want, you can actually take this up. So I see the offer. So she gave me the offer that I had not even actually applied. It was actually, I did a later application to that course. Because she told me, you can try to apply. And they gave me. So when they gave it to me, I realized the requirements were they're only actually paying half. And then I saw, for example, for me to get a visa, I needed to have around 35 million, I think. It was really tough. So I abandoned the whole venture. So I stopped my journey in applying for scholarships. I gave up. So 2 years passed, 2019. So she reached out to me again. She's like, hey, what happened to you? Did you actually forget about these scholarships? I was like, I gave up. Yeah. She's like, no, try again this time. Just give it. Probably a lot has changed between 2017 and now. And I think everyone says your application is good. Try again this time. So I put in, I put in my application. So she told me one of the reasons why my application was actually not considered was my motivation statement was not so good. So she told me this time, put a lot of effort in that. Yeah. So around the time actually I was applying, she resigned from her job at the university in Norway. She moved to another university. But however, she knew someone from Uganda who was in the UK. The person is a lecturer at University of Bournemouth, something like that. So she referred me to that person to help me with my motivation statement. So fast forward, I did my motivation statement, sent that guy got in touch with me, the lecturer at that university got in touch with me, read through my motivation statement. And lucky for me, I also had a brother. He also works at Imperial College London. So he also helped me. He reviewed, but he's in public health, so his review wasn't that necessary. So it was this guy at this university, Bournemouth, because he was in child protection. He was a child protection specialist. He actually told me, write your experience. When you're writing a letter, write as if it is from your heart. Don't read from Google, don't read from this. Write from the situation of your country. Write what you'd love to see change. And write how this course will actually help you to change that in your country. And basically that's what I did. He did not write it for me. He told me, do this, do this, do this, write it, and then after you thought about all these things, share with me what you have. So I wrote it down, I shared with him, he did a few editing, but of course, as people edit, they don't actually cross, they just suggest. So it suggested some changes. So fast forward, I put in the application, and when was that? The application was ending, the deadline was in January, actually. So that was 2019. So 2020, January, I put in my application towards the deadline. Yeah. And then around 2020, in June, we were given, but as we all know, during that time, COVID was at its peak. So they postponed the program to 2021. Yeah. And here we are. So fast forward, I got the scholarship. We had, after getting the scholarship, actually I got the notification from European Union in Uganda.
When was that?
June. I think early June. She wrote to me. She's like, hey, Teddy, congratulations.
Wow.
European Union in Brussels has said you're among the list of students from Uganda that has gotten a scholarship. I was like, wow. So then she said they invited us to have a dinner at the ambassador's place, but I think during that time there was lockdown in Uganda. So actually, EU facilitated us a lot. Like they provided transport, they gave us a lot of transport refund, and by then, much as we're in Uganda, they're giving us transport refund in euros. So it was really nice. So yeah.
Wow,
So we.
that's a very inspiring story, basing on the fact that you had to go through a number of challenges to reach where you are, and the fact that getting feedback, the fact that Maureen, I think I'll mute you. Yeah, the fact that you had several challenges, but again, succeeded is amazing. And I think the support you received from someone, what was her name?
She's called Karina.
Karina, yeah. I think it gives you courage when someone from the inside tells you, yeah, I think your application was good. You're like, oh, let me try again.
Yeah, like actually, I didn't know this lady, so she's Norwegian. So recently I was talking to her and she's like, you know what, one thing I learned is when I recognize something good, I go after it. So when I saw that your application was good, I was like, hey, why would we actually stop a person like this from getting in because of. So she actually followed up and ensured that I got in. So I think one of the things that she said, she's like, people usually who apply like from African countries, when they apply and they don't get in after the first time, they give up. So that's why she actually this time said, no, let me follow up and see. Yeah.
Okay, so this is an encouragement for the people on this call and those who will watch later. Most of the times you apply and you don't get in, and you think that you are maybe a low quality applicant, or these things are not meant for you. No, sometimes on the first knock, the door is not opened. So it's up to you to either go on and pursue what you want, or actually like, I give up. But I think the support you get from the people around you is very important. So if you know that you surround yourself with very positive people who can support you to pursue your dreams, please keep them around. And most of the times, as an applicant, you always feel this fear of, am I good enough? Will I make it? But you can only know that after submitting. One of the things that I always encourage my friends about is clicking that submit button. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself. They're gracious. I'll give you a chance later. Let me first finish this point. So after getting the scholarship and going for the dinner, what next?
So around that time, I think we're under lockdown, but some student actually went with the support of European Union in Uganda. They helped them with, they're called what? They helped them with flights, like helping them move. EU was really very supportive, like ensuring that you actually get your visa on time, you move, you have where to stay, like getting PCR tests. So people traveled. Actually, I think we were a few. It's only, I think, me, Alex, and some few people would actually didn't travel. And I think Emmanuel, because our courses were postponed because of the COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went back to work.
All right.
So I went back to work.
There's this common question that most of the Ugandans will ask. So I'll ask on their behalf. Must I come back to Uganda?
Now, okay. So the beauty with our scholarship, it does not have that condition. Actually, we joke about it in class, how people plan to have anchor babies. It is something they say in US, how people have babies just as an anchor, a sheep, how it anchors. So So you have a baby just to stay in the country because your child is a citizen. So here we have someone wrote about an article about Erasmus babies. So how Erasmus students are actually finding love and staying in the countries where they've been, because us, we don't have that strict, there's no condition. Yeah, people, you can either decide to stay in Europe and contribute to its development or go back home and support your people. Yeah.
Amazing. So when I'm writing my personal statement, do I have to write it focusing on Uganda? Like, because usually I think it is good to write from like a problem statement. Since you're in child protection, you could say maybe, let's say there are weak policy implementation mechanisms to protect children in Uganda. Maybe you cite some sources, you give some numbers. So if I do not plan, for example, to come back to Uganda, how do I write? Maybe you can even answer for both. If I plan to come back to Uganda, how do I write my application? Then 2, if I plan to stay in Europe, how do I write my application? Because I think if you plan to do to stay in Europe, I don't know if you write about Ugandan problems. Please let us know.
Yeah. So now the challenge with this scholarship is you're competing with people from Europe. So they're also writing from their point of view. So it's advisable also write from your point of view.
Okay.
And say, for example, we have ABCD, I intend to do this. Or you can do it, why they don't encourage people to do on a general basis is because they want to see Teddy in the application. They want to see what are her interests, what does she intend to do. Though whatever happens after 2 years, things change and people take on different routes in life. So but since there's this competition from people within Europe, I think it's best that someone writes from their own point of view and experience. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. So from your advice, I think I would better write from an approach of I will come back to Uganda and implement this. Okay. Thank you. Deogratius, yeah. Yes, Deo. Okay. We don't seem to hear you, and we're coming towards the end. Deogratius? I can't hear you, so you will have to type the question in the chat. I think I'll take these 2 more questions, then we will finalize with general tips. One is asking that Joseph, is experience a key factor in qualifying for the scholarship? I just finished my undergraduate degree last year and I am for internship. Do I stand a competing chance? Then there's Julian Atwine, which people from all fields, can people from all fields apply? I think, Teddy, as you respond to those questions, please remind them about the link you've shared in the group, because most of these questions can be answered from there. Yeah, but you can also give your experience about whether having like 1 or 2 years experience means a lot, and the people that can apply for the scholarship. Yeah, Teddy, you're muted.
Okay. So what I was still saying is that I think when it comes to years of experience, I think it matters, but it doesn't matter to some extent, because I've seen people who are just graduated and they got in. I have a classmate, he's I think from Brazil, and he had just graduated and he got in. I've known some Ugandans who had just graduated and they got in. So I think all this comes back to how well they wrote. Probably they used the internship experience, and how good they. Like when I read their motivation statements, I was like, wow, when did you actually do all these things that you're in school? I was really amazed, like at how much people can do very good statements and they win people even who have worked for years. So
Yeah.
I think it's about your motivation statement, what you intend to do with it, and how your life experiences are shaped whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know some of the applicants may not ask this, but how can those who are interested in getting you to review their essays, how should they actually even contact you to review their essays?
Okay. I don't know if I'm the right person to do that, but I think it also depends on your area of interest.
Yeah.
Because like I had said, I'd given my brother who is doing public health review. When I sent her same thing he had reviewed to this other person was like, what? This is not. So I think it should be in relation to what you want to do. Like
Yeah.
the best person, for example, if I'm a mechanical engineer, I look at person who is good, who did this masters, blah blah, or whatever masters they did. And then they can be able to edit for me from our field point of view, from what we are doing.
Yeah.
You actually, yeah. And then one thing, I might not be the right person to actually review people's things, because one of the comments I've been getting from my exams, I write a lot. So it is, you need someone who is really good at doing concise, but I can do some, but one of the things I think I can do is probably grammar and preciseness. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I think, the support I can help. But the content, you need someone from your field.
Okay. Thank you so much. So as we wrap up, the key points here are: one, please consult the website. We've shared the link in the group, in the chat. Secondly, it is very important for you to make thorough research about the area you're going to apply in. Third, this scholarship, most of the times you'll need to apply through the website, and from there, that's when you either be given admission under scholarship or maybe put on waiting list. So it's largely dependent on the host university. Yeah. Then also, Erasmus Mundus does not require you, it's not mandatory for you to go back home, but it is important when you're writing your application to focus on the challenges that your home country is facing, that is Uganda, because that's where you can craft your story from. Most of the other applicants, like in the EU, they are also writing about their challenges at home. For example, someone here in UK in health will be maybe writing about the challenges in the NHS healthcare system. So you can't compete with them if you also want to start writing about like challenges in the national healthcare system in the UK. So please write about like challenges you know mostly at home, and if you can supplement it with work experience, well and good. Then finally submit, do not shy away. You can also get a friend like Karina in the Erasmus Mundus program
She's
who
no
will be
longer
able
there.
to, yeah, no, but you never know. Yeah, so because that support system is very important for you. So because sometimes you'd want to give up, but when you have people to support you, people to help you, you will keep pursuing your dreams. So I'll give like 2 more seconds for those who have quick questions to ask now before I give a chance to Teddy to wrap up, because I think we. Yeah, it's already 1, so we should be finishing. Any questions? Priska, this is your field. Teddy is also in child protection. And if you have questions, you better ask now.
Please, thank you. I actually wrote this, so for now I'm okay. And thanks so much for this session. Really, 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 really helpful. I have my pen with me, so I've been noting down a number of things, and yes, thanks again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so questions are coming. Do they need the English exam?
No.
No, they don't. Then for
They
a course that accepts any CV format, what format would you advise? Should we stick to Europass format? Good question, Lucy.
I personally use the Euro format.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have known people who used, I think, I don't know which format it is, but it's some random format. So I think it also depends on someone.
Yeah, but in my opinion, this is funded by the European Union, and that's a format that is popular that they are used to. So I would encourage using the Europass format. But it is not a must. I don't think that the format you use determines whether you get or not get a scholarship. But of course, it is easier when you use a scholarship, a CV format that they are used to. Yeah, I think we have no more questions. Deogracius didn't write in the chat his question. So Teddy, you can wrap up. Those who have questions for Teddy as they pop up, I don't know. I think if you have questions, you could pertinent questions. You could put them on the group, then I'll share them with Teddy. But as I will give her the last words, apply for the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. There are many which are still open. Most of the times, I think the deadline for many of them is Feb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Feb. So you still have some little time, but that doesn't mean that you should sit and wait for the deadline. So check on the portal and ensure that you know your deadlines very well for the type of Erasmus Mundus Scholarship you're interested in. I think this should be the last question. Concerning the proof of residence, can a national ID work instead?
Okay. So I had actually they needed both. In my case, they needed both because I had only submitted my national ID. They told me no, they need something, a proof. I don't know why they didn't take it up. So I actually had to use the letter from the chairman as well to show that that's where I reside. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So Teddy, your final thoughts and bye for now from me.
Okay, so probably my last thoughts would be that everyone should, one thing I believe, that opportunities are so many. We keep actually joking about it in class that opportunities are so many for us, but when it comes to us as African people, not to stereotype ourselves, but people actually don't go further to get them. So for example, you find that in class we are like 30, and then Africans are just 4. And yet, for example, these other guys, like people from, and then of the 4, most of the people are from West Africa, Nigerians. So because these guys are they really go out for these things, and then they have lots of mentorship for these things. So you find a Nigerian, like a classmate of mine that I have, he's he has a scholarship for Commonwealth for long distance at University of Southampton. He's here, and then the same year he got in for SIS, and I'm like, how do you do all these things? He's like, Teddy, I actually put in a lot of work. And then with the era where classes are done online for some, so he's able to do 2 courses at the same time. So
Wow.
you see, and he got in, and he's getting his stipends twice. So I think as people, we need to just keep our luck out there, try as many times as we can, and put in effort. People put in effort. Like, you don't just say, okay, I'm applying for this, and then you just do a random statement. You actually don't double check it, consulting the right people. Like, I think we need to put in a lot of effort for these things to actually come to ourselves. You don't just sit there and think things will come for you. You have to put in a lot of effort. Yeah. Like, for example, me, and then always keep an open mind. Don't be saying, I want Erasmus. No, there's SIS, there is DAD in German, there is Commonwealth, there's Chevening, there are so many. For example, University of Manchester has equity scholarships for Ugandans, which are even less competitive. Ugandans, people from Tanzania and Rwanda. So you can get into so many. You just keep an open mind. Don't be like me, who are saying, no, I have to go to Sweden because I have a family there. I have to go to Sweden. No, keep an open mind, and things will utilize for you. If you don't get in here, you get in another place. I think that is my take home. And then my lastly, Erasmus is a very good scholarship opportunity. Yeah, the money is good. The installation costs are good. You meet people from all over the world. I've seen people who have gotten jobs in UNICEF, where I want to work, where I'm currently doing my internship. So it's actually good. You learn so many things. You get to get so many people. You meet so many people. Your dreams change. Like, you start dreaming big. You say, okay, I'm not going to go back and work for care. I don't want to, you want to work for better and better. Like, you want to see yourselves grow. Like, and then the lecturers or the professors are very supportive. Like, they ensure everything is on time. Actually, you don't expect to fail in this program because people offer you a lot. Yeah, so the minimum you can get is a B. So yeah, just try your luck and everything will be fine.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
welcome.
Yeah. Oh, final question. This has snuck in. Should recommendation letters be stamped, or a signature is enough?
Personally, mine were actually stamped for validity purposes because, like, just from an experience point of view, for example, like people who came with COVID-19 certificates from Uganda, for example, or from Nigeria, or from wherever, and then they're just, they're stamped. But now what they're doing to validate them is they scan the QR code. So those whose certificates were found empty, they're telling them, no, you just forged this thing, you just wrote it yourself. So you get, so let us ensure that we have valid documentation. So to ensure that it's valid, let it have a stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and get recommendation letter from people who have website. I think it's good. They can check what those guys do and all, especially for SI, those who are interested in Swedish scholarships. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you too. Bye bye.
Yeah.